Welcome to another edition of Saturday Sit Down. This week we go to the province of Manitoba, friendly Manitoba, where we find our friend Brett Davis. Brett, how has life been treating you?
Life's been different lately, obviously, with the whole virus thing going on. It's a long off season, a lot of time to train. I'm sure a lot of people are in the same position. I think I'm going on my 7th month of working out in the gym now. So I like to think I'm getting a lot stronger. Lots of time spent with family and friends. So all in all, it's been okay.
I want to ask you about the friends and family thing because for a hockey player, and I don't have to tell you, but some people might not realize that you play your season and then you go right into training. And in your case, and in other cases, there's training camps and development camps and all of those things that keep you busy during the season. Is it a blessing in disguise almost in a sense, or a cherry, out of a not so great situation that you've been able to take advantage and spend a lot more time with family than you maybe typically would have?
Yeah, you kind of said it right there. There's positive and negatives for it. Obviously, like you said, usually you have a set date for when you're going to go back and when you're going to start up the hockey season again. Obviously now in times it's a little bit different. You don't really know what's the next step. Sometimes you don't know when timelines and stuff like that. But obviously I'm cherishing my moments with my family, spending a lot more time with them and friends, and I'm kind of just going from there.
Well, let's roll the clock back to March. You, of course, had come over in a trade from Red Deer with the Hurricanes and kind of ending where you started. How disappointing was it to have the season end the way it did with COVID and ultimately having your overage season canceled?
Yeah, it sucked. Not only did it just suck for the 20s because it was their last season in the league, but it sucked for everyone. It sucked for the staff. Obviously, the fans were disappointed too, and everyone was disappointed. But it is what it is. There's nothing you can really do about it. I was praying that, I asked Pete, I was like, Pete, man, is there any way that we're coming back? And he couldn't give me an answer that would make me smile. So, it sucked. But at the end of the day, like I said, there's nothing you can do about it. So kind of just had to take it with a grain of salt and go day by day.
You hold the distinction of being a two-time Lethbridge Hurricane, and the first time, of course, started at the WHL Bantam Draft. You were part of that incredible class of 2014. We've had Jaden Joseph on from that class, Jordy Bellerive, so many good players that came out of that draft, Coltrane Wilson, Zane Franklin. When you look back to the WHL Bantam Draft, what did you know going in, and had you ever heard of Lethbridge?
Yeah, I actually don't think I talked to Lethbridge at all. I was in Notre Dame for my draft year out in Wilcox, Saskatchewan there. I had a pretty good season. I didn't really know, whereabouts I was going to go in the draft. I talked to a couple teams. Funny story, actually. I talked to Medicine Hat, and one of the questions they asked me is if I play any other sports, and for some reason, I just blanked right when they asked me that, and I couldn't think of anything, so I said badminton. So I don't know if that was the right answer to go with, but that was a pretty funny story for the draft. But I was sitting in English class, actually, and I just wasn't even listening to what was happening. I was so dialed in on the draft, and then I saw my name come up in the 4th round, and I was super pumped and happy.
Talk about Wilcox. There's been so many great hockey stories, great hockey people that have come out of Wilcox and the Notre Dame programs, the Argos and the Hounds. What was that experience like for you?
It was different. It was my first time moving away from home at such a young age. I think it really helped me set myself up for my career in the dub, just to kind of, figure out how to live on my own and stuff like that. But small town, not a lot to do there other than school and hockey. So that's where your focus was for the whole time you were there, basically. So it was fun. It was different. It was a cool experience, and I'll definitely cherish that.
When you think back to your first training camp with the Lethbridge Hurricanes as a 15-year-old after your draft year, I feel like that's always such an impactful and eye-opening experience for a player who's just been drafted. When you think back to that time, what do you remember?
I just remember being in awe. I was, I was just a little kid. I was like 5'7", 140 pounds, soaking wet. I kind of just wanted to go in there. I was really nervous. I remember I had all my red equipment, and I just remember I just wanted to buzz out there. I just wanted to, try to, impress all the staff and stuff. But obviously going into a camp with WHL veteran players, it's just like, wow, like you kind of realize that maybe you'll have a chance to maybe be like them one day. And obviously get my first taste of Lethbridge. I really loved it and really opened my eyes a little bit, see what I could have in the future. So it was fun for sure.
You were able to play 3 games as an affiliate that year. How important is that for a young player to, before you go into your 16-year-old season, and that 16-year-old season, I don't have to tell you, it's a difficult one with all the adjusting. How important was it to get that kind of taste of WHL hockey as a 15-year-old call-up?
Yeah, it was super cool. I remember my first game was in Brandon, and I had a 2-on-1 with Riley Lindgren, and he dished it over to me, and I had a wide open net. And I don't know what happened, but I missed it, and it was pretty upsetting for me. But yeah, no, it was awesome. Obviously playing in Brandon, I had all my family there, home province game, so that was super cool. And then I remember my second game was in Lethbridge, and I got absolutely blown up center ice. So that kind of opened my eyes up to what I kind of got to work towards. I got to keep my head up maybe a little bit more. It's different than minor hockey, but no, it was awesome. It was a great experience, and kind of like I said, opened my eyes a little bit to what I need to work on, with the pace of it and stuff like that.
You were able to come in the following season. You made the team as a 16-year-old, had 9 points that year, and that season was such a special one because the Hurricanes hadn't made the playoffs for 6 years prior. There had been some tumult and everything, and the leaf kind of flipped and the page flipped, and you were a part of that early incarnation of the Brent Kissio era at the start of it. What do you remember from that first season in the WHL with the Hurricanes and that year of winning the Central Division and making the playoffs?
Yeah, it was an unreal year. I think the first thing I think of is how tight our group was in the dressing room. Obviously we brought in some pieces that really kind of turned the whole organization around. And, I think it started with our 20-year-olds with Miette, Gutierrez, and Atwell. They really kind of helped out all the younger guys. And, it was my first taste of the league. It was my first year. So it was a learning curve. It was a good experience. Obviously I look back at it and I'm really, really happy Pete gave me the opportunity to play when I was 16. So, it was awesome. It was super fun.
You scored your first WHL goal against the Prince George Cougars, and if you were to write it up, it'd be a 2-on-1 or a breakaway, and
Yeah.
it's a beauty. Yours was kind of like just a little poke that got through the goalie, but talk about the elation of scoring your first goal.
Yeah, I remember it just like it was yesterday. Actually, I think it was a 4-on-4, and I was out there with Giorgio. Obviously a pretty good player to be out there with 4-on-4 with, and I kind of just got a step on Sam Ruoff. It was the defenseman for PG, and I kind of was just driving wide, and I just kind of poked it towards the net and it slid in. So, super happy moment, obviously, and we didn't end up winning the game, which was disappointing. But I got my first goal under my belt, and I was super happy. So it was fun.
One of the things the Hurricanes do is they put those pucks on plaques. Do you still have that plaque somewhere?
I do, yeah. It's in my mom's room, actually.
In your mom's room,
Yeah.
posted proudly.
Yeah.
The Central Division, the night you guys clinched the Central Division, is a night that certainly I'll never forget, and anybody that would have been in the building or listening or watching that night would never forget. It was that lopsided win. Well, not lopsided, but a high-scoring game against the Medicine Hat Tigers, 9-7. You guys clinched the division, but Stuart Skinner also scores the goal. That night, talk about that emotion, because you guys knew going in, you win, you clinch the division, and the Hurricanes hadn't clinched the division since 1997. So what was that night like? And to have it kind of capped off with Stewie's goal is kind of a special evening.
It was outrageous. I just remember when he scored that goal, the fans were just going nuts. And then he went and did the flyby, and all the boys were just losing their mind and just so happy for him and stuff like that. Right when they rimmed the puck around, I don't know, I feel like a lot of people on our team were thinking, just do it, Stu, just go for it. And I remember he was talking about the practice before, how he was we were working on the cross ice dumps or whatever, and he ended up sinking one. So it was electric. Obviously the fans were buzzing, and it was a super fun night.
Yeah, that night, a really special night. Talk about your bond with Stuart, because you guys, I remember as young players, you guys had that kind of little handshake thing at the end of a game when you would win. How did that come to be? And maybe talk about that friendship.
Well, me and Stu thought we were incredible dancers, and I don't think a lot of people would agree with us. But yeah, I mean, it all started with us being in the same science class in school. Every morning we walk into science class and we'd say, "Good morning, everybody," pretty loud. So that was kind of our thing. That's kind of where it all started with us. We built an awesome friendship, and then somehow I think in our spare time we like to work on the dance moves a little bit, and we said, just screw it, let's make a dance move after wins at center ice. And there's a couple videos of it on social media, and it was super fun. But Stu's a great guy, and yeah, miss him a lot.
The two words that come to mind is terrifically terrible when it comes to that dance.
Yeah, I agree.
The playoffs. You guys made the playoffs that year, and I remember game one of that playoff series against Regina. Of course, didn't go your way, but the energy in the building that night, the white flags, the pent up energy from the crowd and the city. How did you guys kind of encapsulate that, and what was it like from a player's perspective?
Again, yeah, it was crazy. That's one thing I can say about Lethbridge, that no matter what day it was, whether it's a Tuesday night game or a Friday night game or a playoff game, the fans were always buzzing, and that's one of the main reasons why I just loved playing in Lethbridge. I remember the intro video, just watching that and going out there, and like you said, the white towels, and it's just sold out. And first time being in the playoffs with the team for a while. So long overdue, and it was pretty electric for sure. It was fun.
Of course, that series wouldn't go your way. Going into the next year, 17-year-old year, always an important one for a player. 29 games for the Hurricanes, and then the trade to Kootenay. Of course, Al Farrow and Zabrowski coming back in a deal that saw you and Colton Croker go to the Kootenay Ice. What was the reaction to getting traded? And I imagine there was probably some disappointment.
Yeah, it was a tough day. I remember we had a game the night that I found out. I was 17 years old, and I ended up scoring that night, so I was pretty pumped after the game. We'd won. I think it was against Brandon, if I remember correctly. And then I went to look at my phone after, and I saw my agent text me and say, give him a call. And I knew something was weird about that, because he hadn't really done that right after a game before. It was kind of weird. So I called him, and he kind of told me the news and said that management's going to talk to me soon. But yeah, it sucked. It wasn't definitely wasn't what I was wanting at all. Kind of caught me off guard a little bit, but it's a business, and I understood. Obviously it was tough on me and my billets and Pete, and but at the end of the day, I got to come back, and that's all that matters, right?
Yeah, and you would go, and you played so well with the Kootenay Ice. I look at the stats, and that second half of that year, 30 games, 22 points, ultimately got drafted by the Dallas Stars. And of course, you didn't sign with Dallas, but there's only 200-odd players a year that get drafted to an NHL team. So getting drafted by the Stars, what did that mean to you? It must have meant a lot to you and your family.
Yeah, it did. Obviously, my parents were super proud of me. All my family was super proud of me. I think getting traded to Kootenay was a good thing for me when it came to, you look at the team that they were when I got traded. They were kind of lower in the division, so that kind of gave me a little bit more opportunity to play and kind of put up some numbers and kind of prove myself a little bit more maybe. But yeah, so I got to give a lot of credit to them. It was a great organization. I love playing there. I love the town. I think that they helped me a lot with my career. I think going there really helped me get drafted, and sucks I didn't get to sign with Dallas, but it is what it is, and it's just a little more motivation down the road.
Yeah, the following year, your full year with Kootenay, a career year, 58 points, 25 goals. And then the following season, you get traded again, this time to the Red Deer Rebels. And at the time of the trade, Red Deer was, on such a great track. How excited were you to go to an organization that had, with such high repertoire? Of course, Brent Sutter is a coach and general manager in a pretty nice city as well.
Yeah, I was super excited when I got traded there. I think the biggest thing for me was I wanted to play in the playoffs a lot. I wanted to go deep in the playoffs. Obviously my 16-year-old year, we got knocked out first round. And then my next year in Kootenay, we didn't make the playoffs, so I wanted a taste of it, and that was the biggest thing for me. So I knew when I got traded there, I was gonna get a chance at the playoffs. Obviously, we got knocked out by PA that year, first round, which sucked. But Red Deer, I loved Red Deer. It was a good city. High expectations with that team. You're held accountable for everything you do on and off the ice, so it was good. Obviously we had a really strong group there. Kind of slid off the map a little bit near the end of the year, which kind of put us in a tough spot to play a good team in the first round. But all in all, I like my time in Red Deer, and yeah.
How did going through a trade from Lethbridge to Kootenay at 17 differ from a trade from Kootenay to Red Deer at 19?
Yeah, I had a taste of kind of how it worked, and I'd already experienced it once, so it kind of made it a little bit more comfortable. Obviously I was really good friends with Cam Hosinger, and I ended up getting moved from Kootenay to Red Deer with him in the same deal. So when you get traded with not only a teammate but a really good friend of yours, it makes it a lot easier for the transition. The organization welcomed me in with open arms, me and Hauser, and made it really easy transition for us. So it was good.
One of the things I always remember from your time in Kootenay, and of course with your time in Red Deer, is you always seem to get up to play Lethbridge. Being on the other side of the Lethbridge bandwagon, of course, we'll talk about you coming back and kind of going full circle. But did you always get a little more motivation on those nights, especially with the Red Deer Lethbridge rivalry, which has been so good over the years?
My parents would always say, "Why can't you play like that every game?" I don't know what it was, but every time I played Lethbridge, I was just so pumped, so excited to play. Funny story, I don't know if you remember this, but I was in Red Deer at the time, and I wasn't playing very well, and I knew we were playing Lethbridge the next night, and Kotz ended up forgetting his skates on the road trip. And I was talking to Bella on the bench, and like, we're gonna find this guy unless he fights this game. And I wasn't playing well at the time, so I was like, okay, tell him I'll fight him. So me and Kotz ended up fighting that game, and what do you know? Now we're literally best friends. So it's funny how things work. But yeah, every time we play Lethbridge, I was super pumped, super excited. Not only just for the on ice aspect of it, but just to see some of your old friends there, see maybe some of the staff. I think I saw Pete before that game, said hi to him. Kind of little things like that was what made it really exciting. Lethbridge will always have a special place in my heart, and yeah.
Yeah, it comes full circle this year, and you get traded back to the Hurricanes, and it was the only deadline move the Hurricanes made that Peter made. So maybe put in a bow what it meant to come back to the Lethbridge Hurricanes. Of course, you've referenced Pete Anholt a handful of times throughout this interview. How impactful was it to come back and for Pete to kind of give you that opportunity and trade for you to say, hey, come end it with us again?
Yeah, I have the utmost respect for Pete, and not only Pete, but every single staff member with Lethbridge. He's the one that first gave me the opportunity to play at 16, and he's the one that brought me back for my final go at it. Obviously it was when I found out I was going to Lethbridge, I was like, what is happening right now? And I was just I couldn't believe it, honestly. I was so excited. And Pete called me, and I answered my phone. I said, "How's it going, Pete?" So it was kind of funny. Yeah, Pete's he's an awesome guy. He's really knows what he's doing when it comes to building a franchise. And I honestly have nothing but good things to say about him and the organization and all the staff. And I couldn't be any happier when I got traded back.
20 games with the Hurricanes before the season got canceled, 16 goals, 25 points. How much fun did you have during that, month and a half run?
You could say I had a little bit of fun, yeah. I was a super confident player ever since I got back to Lethbridge, and I think whoever I was playing with, I just seemed to have just really good chemistry with them. Obviously you could say we had a younger team, so I was put with a couple of different players, maybe in the lineup, different nights and stuff like that. But I was just a super confident player. I was putting the puck in the net, and my teammates were really helping me out a lot. So the transition, obviously, like I said before, was super easy because I knew a lot of the staff. I knew a couple of players coming back. So didn't get my spot in the locker room, which I was hoping for, but that's all right. It was fun.
Or your number.
What's that? Or my number, yeah.
Yeah, maybe touch on that. Whitey, of course, Rhett White, the equipment manager of the Hurricanes. You were 14 in your first go-around. You wore 22 this season, or this time around. Maybe tell the reason why for the fans that maybe don't know that story.
Yeah, Whitey actually texted me, I think it was the day after, about numbers, and he said, Davey, we got 14 here, but I'm telling you right now, it's the smallest jersey we have, and it ain't going to fit you. So that's the reason why I didn't pick it. And I was 22 in Kootenay. I really liked it. So and it was available. So I just kind of stuck with that.
How did, from a player who was part of the infancy of the Brent Kissio era, back, in that first year for you at 16 in 2015, 2016, how has the organization matured, in your mind when you come back as a 20-year-old 4 years later?
Yeah, it's actually funny you say that, because I remember when I was a 16-year-old, Kiss always used to work a lot with me. We did a lot of video together and stuff like that. Coming into the league as a 16-year-old from minor hockey, maybe you got to adjust your game a lot. I think maybe the stick handling, maybe you have to go back to a minimum a little bit. The turnovers have to go down a little bit. And I remember having a conversation with Kiss, and he said that, listen, one day I'm going to make you a really, really good Western Hockey League player. And, he worked a lot with me when I was 16 and my time when I was 17 in Lethbridge. And I always remember that line that he said to me. We're going to make you a good hockey player one day. And he did that exactly. He helped me a lot with my game. He helped me mature as a player. And I think coming back my 20-year-old year, it was really fun, and I really enjoyed playing under Kiss.
I guess only a couple more that I'm curious about is when you think back to your time in Lethbridge as a whole, and you start your career here, you end your career here, you develop so many great friendships over that time. When you think about Lethbridge, what does it mean to you?
Where do I start? I love everything about Lethbridge, the city, the fans, the organization. It's a first-class organization. The expectations are high, and I think that every player in the room likes that. You don't want to go to the rink and, be okay with losing, because that's not the way it's done. We went to the rink every day, and we expected to win, and we had a lot of fun doing it. There's so many memories that I look back, and it's just like, I'm going to have these memories for the rest of my life. I'm going to have these friends for the rest of my life. The on-ice part of it was awesome. Pete really turned the organization around. And, I'll be keeping tracks on Lethbridge for a very long time, I'm sure. And I'll be keeping track of the standings. And, hopefully they keep with the success that they have. And I can really see you guys winning a championship really soon. So, yeah, nothing but good things to say. The fans, the community, everything about it was super fun.
Yeah, maybe the message to the fans, because we've had Caitlin Addison on, and we've had Ty Prefontaine and Coltrane Wilson on as well on the Saturday sit-down, the outgoing members of the Lethbridge Hurricanes, who didn't get that opportunity to really kind of take in their last game in Lethbridge. So for you being the fourth and final member of that group, what's the message to the fans?
Just thank you. Yeah, thanks for always supporting us. They're always there for us. They've been through a lot. They've been through a lot of rough times when it comes to back in the day and how it went. And they didn't really give up on the Hurricanes. They stuck with them, and I think everyone knew that one day the organization was going to get turned around, and they're going to become a winning team almost every night. So the fans always had our backs. They're always cheering loud, and they're always there for us. So it was not probably actually, they were the best fan base in the league, and I'm sure they will be for a very long time.
I think we can leave it there. Brett, my friend, really appreciate you taking the time to catch up, and we wish you nothing but the best moving forward in your hockey career. Thanks for this.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It was awesome.
All right, there is not a one-time, but a two-time Lethbridge Hurricane, Brett Davis, on another edition of a Saturday Sit-Down. We hope you enjoyed it.